folks. This is Lose Control every Wednesday between 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. A lean show today because we're missing 50% of our crew. Gavin is not here with us, and Manolis is acting.
Acting.
Yeah.
He's an actor.
Dude, 2 points, he says. Number one, can I park in your parking spot? Number two, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it to the radio show today because I'm acting.
What was he? Is he acting in Hamilton?
Yes. I think he's acting somewhere downtown. I heard a crazy rumor that
Ethan Hawke was in town.
You know what?
Are Ethan Hawke and Manolis in a new buddy cop film?
Imagine? Dude, why don't you just come over tonight? I'll introduce you to the bartender.
Yeah.
I heard that there's a few celebrities in town. Someone sent me a text last week saying that they thought that, I can't remember. I might even have, I'll check in a bit, that someone saw, I can't remember who it is, on James Street.
Who? Not Ethan Hawke?
No, it was...
Dave Nardi, the Dirty Nail, was posting on Facebook that Ethan Hawke was
I think someone saw Dave Nardi. No. I can't remember. I'm going to have to check, but I know someone sent me a message saying, hey, there's somebody who they thought they saw on James Street North, and wouldn't it be cool if they came to the bar? I'll check. Before the show's over anyways. Let me tell you about the show, folks. Bob Bryden is going to be our special guest. We're going to call him a little after 4 o'clock, immediately after the MP3 of the week from our friend Rob Sweeney. Okay, so here's the Coles Notes version on Bob Bryden. Born in Ottawa, lived in Oshawa. That's how I'm somewhat connected with him. One of the innovators of Canadian psych rock. He used to have a band called Rain Ghost. After Rain Ghost, he had a band called Christmas, which later changed the name to The Spirit of Christmas. Then he started working for a record store called Star Records, which I think he managed. I believe he worked for Star, and then he managed Star Records here in Hamilton on James Street. And then during that tenure, he ended up producing music for Durango 95, the Forgotten Rebels, a few records, I think 2 records for the Forgotten Rebels, even maybe 3, but I'll find out for sure when we talk to Bob, as well as releasing some solo records as well. So anyways, when I was at the Corktown about maybe 9 years ago, it was just great to be able to hook up with Bob somewhat officially and just talk to him about his music. And it's like, Bob, what are you doing? I haven't seen you in a while. We haven't really talked about anything musically. I know what it was. We brought in Moxie, and he was at the Moxie show, and he was telling us then that he was thinking about coming out with a new band and everything. So I think in a way, inadvertently, I think I'm kind of responsible for kind of giving him the old pitchfork up the bum, so to speak, or on the bum, not so much up the bum. But, yeah. Ooh, me and my dirty mind. Yeah, See what happens when I eat pizza? I go crazy.
Yeah.
So anyways, It's great to hook up with Bob, and he's such a talented guy, and with lots of conviction, and he's one of these guys that's really supporting and has supported music in Hamilton for a long time. So we're thankful that we get the chance to talk to him. So we'll talk to him a little after 4 o'clock following the MP3 of the week. Our friend Rob Sweeney gives us these great songs, and you'll totally enjoy. I think you'll love this one as well. I think it's right up your alley. Yeah, for sure.
He's never failed me once.
You know what? This one will definitely get the gold star, I believe.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, for sure. As well as a bunch of music that we want to share with you, including some music from a couple of birthday boys. Ziggy Pop.
Oh,
it's his birthday today.
Yeah.
Andy Chernoff celebrated his birthday on Saturday.
Our good friend Andy Chernoff.
Mr. Chernoff. So we'll be spinning some music from Andy's solo stuff, as well as some Iggy Pop music and a bunch of requests as well. How are you doing, my friend?
I am great. I'm not hungover today. Yeah. For the past 2 shows, I've been hungover. You kind of missed the hangover?
Well, you look too healthy coming into the... Like, I looked at you right away. I was hoping to see at least...
Like,
no. When you sent me that text and you said that you were prepping, by hitting something, I thought for sure you were... It was like, okay, he needs his remedy because he was probably...
No, it was just a sunny afternoon, and I got to get away from the work for a bit, so I took a hit from the bone. Well, I don't mind.
How are you liking your new position with your company that you're working with right now? Should we mention it? Like, I'd be more than happy to.
Sure, yeah. With Pistonhead, I'm really enjoying it. We had a great time. Thank you very much for letting us come in on the weekend. We did the Joe. We sponsored
and your help.
Pistonhead Lager, everybody. Check it out. I mean, it's at Shea. It's at This Ain't Hollywood, and it's going to be some more places soon. But support those places because they're supporting me. But it's
Swedish beer.
It's Swedish beer. It's great, man. Yeah, check it out. Like, I don't want it to turn the show into a corporate show, but I'm really happy. I'm really happy being a part of it.
I don't mind giving it a plug because I think it's great to see an independent Swedish beer company.
Yeah, and their support. They really the cool thing is they're really into supporting the rock and roll scene, and that's kind of why I got the job, because we do so many events, and they let me support my friends like you, Absinthe, Shay, we want to support more. So if you're around, get at me. Maybe how
do you like being the beer rep?
I mean, it's pretty easy.
Do you go into these establishments now a little differently because you're looking at things a little differently, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, I didn't get, like when I was working at your place on the weekend, I made sure not to get like 47 beer drunk. Like people are asking me questions. I got to, that's good, but that's also kind of healthy because
we noticed on the bottom line, it's like, wait a minute, this can't be right. Ben's in the bar and this is all we made.
yeah.
Check again, count again.
Yeah. No, it's fun, man. It's cool. So I'm enjoying it. It's a neat transition. I mean, this whole year since I stopped being in a band kind of full time has been an interesting kind of like seeing where the pieces scatter, and this is something that I'm enjoying. So
how do you see it from the other side? Like, I mean, you're an artist first, if you don't mind me saying that,
well,
right?
I think that's why I am enjoying it, because I've always kind of, even when I'm playing, like I've always kind of been the one to be able to, like with say like things like Burley Calling, like put the projects together and try to get us some funding and things like that. So to be able to help out, to me it's like helping out. I mean, you're buying the beer, that's awesome. I have a budget to help out independent minded people too, so it's cool. Thanks for letting me do that.
So if people want to get a little bit more information just to be acquainted with the product,
Piston Head, just take a Google up Piston Head Lager, and then all the stuff will come up.
Okay, so yesterday
it's the matte black can with the cool candy skull.
Well, when I was at work yesterday, as I was telling you, coming to the show today, one of the guys on the board was kind of really happy with the fact that he's walking around. Like the first time I gave him a beer, I poured it in the glass, right? And so when he came back, he's like, "Hey, this is really good, but don't pour it in a glass because I want to walk around."
Yeah,
with
the can. The cans are sell.
Yeah. The actual logo itself. Is it now an old Mexican or sort of a Latino logo?
Yeah. And I'm not sure the connection there, rather than just that, the Swedish punks and metalheads that kind of make this beer are into that kind of culture. So I don't know if there's really much more of a connection than that I've been told about. But I've only been at the place for about 2 weeks, and I'm enjoying it so far. And I've already gotten to do a lot of fun stuff, and I've been able to employ some friends for days at a time. And it's nice. I get a kick out of doing that. Like I'm always like trying to help out. So I'm having a good time.
Awesome. Congratulations. You're the perfect man for it.
Thanks.
No,
and I'm still doing all my fun stuff like videos and bookings and all that stuff. It's something that kind of just works with everything.
You're busy.
I am busy.
I always, I follow you obviously online, and you're always posting different things and different events or different projects.
I work really hard to not have a real boss.
Do you like being your own boss?
Yeah, I can't really have it.
You find it more motivating?
More motivating, more rewarding, and I can't, like, I'm not good in those. Like, I've never been good with
Do you ever give yourself trouble? Ben?
Yeah. Like,
what's going on, Ben?
Yeah.
Looking in the mirror and
working for myself. If I need that extra hour in the morning, I can take that. I'm usually up early and doing good stuff.
And Mallory's fine?
And the wife is fine.
Right.
You're interviewing me today.
I know.
I'm getting all nervous. Yeah, she's great. She's great. We want to open a flower shop in Hamilton. So
nice.
We're working on that. That's going to be a project we're doing. So if you have a location that you think a flower shop would be good in, let us know here at Lose Control.
I think it's a great idea, actually. You mentioned this to me before that she's thinking about. No, she's a floral artist. Right?
Lou, with all the bitches we be killing, we're gonna make a fortune off funerals.
Maybe we should. We should be florists.
Yeah. Oh, I was thinking that if we get it, like it'll be you, me, and like I don't know whoever, like Manolis playing cards in the back room, like the old mobsters. Yeah, it'll be awesome.
Hurry up and cut the stems.
Yeah, cut the stems, cut the roses, kid. Yeah. And we'll have some kid we smack around.
Wow, what a great line. Hey Ben, let's go in the back and cut the stems.
Yeah.
Nice. 3:20 exactly here at 93.3 CFMU. We're going to start the show off with some music that we did not play last week. Here's some music from the Backyard Babies on 93.3 CFMU. 93.3 CFMU. Music there, the Helicopters featuring Blagdalia of the Dwarves on vocals, covering the classic from the Dead Boys, Ain't Nothing to Do. And before that, you heard the Backyard Babies featuring former guitar player of the Helicopters Dragon. And from Total 13, you heard a song called Made Me a Madman. 325 and change. Welcome to spring.
I know.
Woohoo!
Finally.
Yeah.
You think we're out of it for good? You think?
Well, I don't know. According to my dad, we're in the ice age.
Yeah.
We're stepping into the ice age. We're close to getting in. It's over. Liquidate everything. Sell the bar. It's all over in a year.
Gold.
Trust me. Believe me. In one more year, everything's done. You know. The weird thing is what happens if he's right? You know?
He might be.
I don't know, but he was watching. Like I said, he saw something on TV about the Ice Age and how a lot of people, and they were making reference to Al Gore's movie, right?
Yeah.
And saying that this could be a reality, that maybe the Ice Age is around the corner, and this might be a sign of it because we've just had such a horrific winter.
Yeah,
but. At the same point, if you kind of look back, there were winters previously that we had the same sort of temperatures. So I'm presuming it's just a cyclical thing that every 40 to 50 years it kind of revisits itself or whatever. But I don't know.
Oh, climate change, who knows? It could be anything.
I'm too busy, thinking whether we're going to be on time for rehearsal tonight.
I know.
For our practice.
It gets scary out there, man.
Yeah, are you one of these types of people that follows like conspiracy theories and things like that?
To an extent, I listen to everything. A lot of them I think are just silly, personally.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like most of the 9/11 ones I think are pretty silly. Mm-hmm. There's a lot I think are silly.
Mm-hmm.
But there's always some truth to the suspicions. There was conspiracy with JFK kind of thing, because JFK, the government put out all these lies, right? And I think the human consciousness can tell when there's been misleading truth, and then that's what kind of spirals into whatever.
Right.
But I'm getting into all sorts of kind of whacked out poo-poo right now. But you know what I mean? The government admitted that they were the ones that kind of fed the public the conspiracy theories about JFK and to kind of seem less incompetent.
Right.
I think that is something that happens probably quite often.
It sure sells a lot of books.
Absolutely. And makes Oliver Stone money.
No kidding. I remember watching that movie for the first time and thinking, okay, I was somewhat traumatized by just the whole point of thinking that, the reality is could a country really pull such a fast one on all its people and think that, they can get away
with September 11th?
No, with a JFK,
right.
and thinking, wow, there's got to be some sort of loose lips that eventually, will kind of come up but who knows?
Probably the mob, if you want to start adding it up. There's a good chance, both those Kennedys were really messing with the mob quite a bit.
And maybe their wives and their girlfriends or who knows.
There was...
John, no, hey.
There could have been a meeting
those legs belong to me.
There could have been a meeting about people all raising their hands of who wanted to shoot JFK. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They all just drew straws of who got the gig.
I was just going to say.
You know what I mean?
Vinny, you got the little straw.
Yeah.
You grabbed the rifle.
Yeah, man, yeah.
About time.
Yeah. So who knows? They were going around pissing everyone off.
I know. I don't try to follow it too deeply, only because sometimes I think I'm too impressionable that if I start reading something and start getting too deep into it, then my mind starts thinking a lot, and then it's like, wait a minute, this might be wrong. But one thing that I was reading actually yesterday at work, I had about maybe 45 minutes to kill. I was reading something about how this whole Lindsay Lohan on the Oprah Winfrey Network, Oprah did a feature on her, and I guess they have been really trying to capitalize on the fact that she miscarried. She was pregnant or something, right?
Lindsay Lohan was.
Yeah. And so the big, brouhaha about it right now is how the whole Oprah Winfrey Network didn't really have any sort of compassion. They're just trying to cash in on the fact that it's Lindsay, right? I couldn't let it down because for the longest time I always thought, Oprah, to me, in the early days, not before she became Saint Oprah, but before she became part of the sainthood. Is she a saint, or is there a sir or something, or madam or in front of her name or whatever? But I always thought she was a male basher.
When they're that big, they call you Mr.
Right, Mr. Winfrey.
Yeah.
I always thought early on,
and
during a lot of the shows, it was she was always kind of well, why are you in, the subjects were always, women that were, and hey, you know what, if it's legit, it's legit. Yeah. But I just found at one point it was almost kind of another reason to bash us guys, right? It's oh, here we go again. It's just Murray or Maury, you look at a girl,
You're the father. You are the father.
It's pretty blatant that Maury is a spineless little bitch.
I know.
I don't know if I can say that, but
early on, I remember Maury Povich as being a legitimate journalist.
That's what I mean. And then, like, who's his wife, Connie Chung? Like, she's wearing the pants.
Yeah,
you can go to daytime TV if you want.
Yeah, but this is how I want it. Yeah, you're gonna find these fathers.
Speaking of useless pieces of poo, did you see the new Avril Lavigne video that came out yesterday?
The which one?
Avril Lavigne video?
No, I have not.
Like, I don't mean to, like, discredit your show by talking about Avril Lavigne, but it's the worst piece of crap you'll ever see.
Is it really bad?
Yeah, and it's getting, it's getting, like, I don't know, it's like a little bit racist. It's like they're trying to be like Di Antwood or something. Like, I don't know, she's like trying to like really step out of that Avril shell, but it's clearly written by like that ass clown that's her husband, Lionface Kruger, whatever his name is. and I don't know, dude. You gotta see it. If you haven't checked out this Avril Lavigne video, not that I want to give her anything, it's like I'm not endorsing, I'm exposing. You have to see this thing to really believe how crappy it is.
Made you sick?
Yeah, no, like it's crazy, and then like this product placement and exploiting Japanese cultures, and it's insane. It's insane.
I'll have to look for it.
Like whoever, and the craziest part about it is there's got to be hundreds of people who work on Avril Lavigne. Hundreds, like whatever record label she's on. Like no, and like everybody, it all went by. Like no, not one. Like they're all such jelly like cowards that not one person said, you know what, guys. I think this is the wrong move for our client.
They're just doing their jobs.
Yeah, just a bunch of yes men, because that's like, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's
nuts. Unless they're just like, we're sick and tired of working with her, let's just put this nail in the coffin so we can shut up Avril forever and work on the next piece of crap.
That's funny. Continuing on, hey, let's celebrate some birthdays.
Yeah.
Iggy Pop is celebrating his birthday as well. Andy Chernoff is celebrated one on Saturday. So we'll spin some music from Iggy and Andy.
I'm sure Iggy's listening, so happy birthday.
Yeah, hey, Igg. Jim. We'll see you later on at the Kung Fu rehearsal. Yeah. Here's music from Iggy Pop on 93.3 CFMU. .93.3 CFMU, music there from the Almighty Dictators from Blood Brothers Minnesota Strip. Before that, Andy Chernoff from his Don't Fade Away EP, and you heard a song called Let's Get the Band Back Together, and Iggy Pop starting it off with Naughty Little Doggy and Heart Is Saved, released from about 1996, 1997. Our birthday wishes going out to those guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Ben Rispin hanging out with me this afternoon, gentlemen. The other two gentlemen, sorry, I was just going to say, are not here.
Where's Gavin? What's his excuse?
I didn't hear back from Gavin. And I sent a text to him, but I didn't hear back from him. But Manhole just said, dude, can't make it. As we're already on the air.
Who said that? Gavin?
No, Manolis.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Manolis.
Yeah, thank you. It's good that he keeps us in tune to what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, he is acting today.
Acting. I'm an actor.
An actor. Do you get kind of freaked out sometimes when you play with your heroes or when you hang out with heroes or, band members that you've really followed for a long time and all of a sudden you kind of strip away the stage and the rock star status and then you realize, oh my God, it's a one-on-one kind of thing.
Yeah, I've been in some situations like that.
How do you handle it?
Well, when I was younger, it was a little bit different, but now I just don't really care. Like, I'm not trying to be like cooler than anything, but you know what I mean? Like, once you kind of grow up and you realize like everyone's got bills to pay and kind of things like that, it's sort of, but when I was young, there's a funny, like when you were telling me this, I remember this is a long time ago, must have been like 97 or 98. I was on the Warped Tour with Jersey. I was selling their merch, a band called Jersey out of Burlington, if you're not familiar. And my friend Ian Blackwood, he was playing drums for them. And we were in line at Warped Tour afterwards, and we were both pretty green. Like, we're like, whoa, there's bona fide rock stars. And we're like, Henry Rollins is walking by, and like, you're like, this is crazy. But we were standing there
in
line.
This is a Ben Rispin moment, right?
No, like we were really intimidated, and we were waiting to get hot dogs or whatever, because like at the end of Warped Tours, like I don't know if they still do it, I haven't gone in years, but they used to have like all these buses and there'd be like fire bins and like it was just awesome, it's like this awesome Mad Max-esque party. And so Tim Armstrong from Rancid, and at the time I was really into Rancid, he's walking past us, he's going, she's gonna be, and he's like stops at me and Ian, we're like, she's gonna be. And me and Ian are like looking at him. We're like, we want to please the Tim Armstrong, but we don't know what the Tim Armstrong is saying. Right. And then eventually, and nobody really did. And everyone's like, everyone's kind of looking at each other. What the hell is this dude? It's kind of like being berated by like a homeless person on the, a homeless person, that's what it felt like when they're like trying to warn you.
But you can't
say,
make out what they're saying.
Yeah. And then he grabbed the potato chips and showed us that they were wet. And he was trying to tell us that the chips had gone bad. So that was a bit eye-opening.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of an interesting brush with greatness, though.
Yeah. I went ranted a few times throughout my course.
I heard Lars is a great guy.
Yeah, we met him for the first time. This is actually kind of a cool story. There was a band called Trunk from Burlington.
Yeah.
They're celebrating their 20th anniversary this year.
Wow,
although I don't think they can get along well enough to play, the lousy bums. But they played a secret show with Maryland's Vitamins at the El Macombo upstairs.
Wow, there's a name I haven't heard in years.
Yeah,
Maryland's Vitamins.
And it was with Rancid. It was when Rancid was just coming out on the Out Comes the Wolves tour.
Wow.
And we were all hanging out on the roof of the El Macombo with Rancid, and we were just like doing the whole thing. Like Rancid, they were pretty famous, but they weren't like as epically famous as they are now.
Right.
And so we're like kind of just comparing, wallets, like IDs, when you first kind of meet friends from other, like, what does your license look like? What is your,
Yeah.
And so we're doing that. And then like Lars is like, oh yeah, here's Chuck D's phone number. Just like, Chuck D from Public Enemy. But the interesting thing about that day was the next, I'm still to this day a massive, massive Beastie Boys fan. So my favorite part about this story is they were just in Toronto for the night. And they had they were all nervous because they had learned a bunch of wedding songs because the next day they were playing Adam Yout from the Beastie Boys' wedding.
Wow.
So I thought that was kind of an interesting little story you never hear about, but Rancid's
cool.
playing your wedding.
Yeah.
You gotta have Beastie Boy money for that kind of, to make Rancid learn a bunch of wedding songs.
Well, it's nice to have that sort of palsy-walsy connection too, right?
Yeah,
so
well, they didn't know them. The Rancid guys are saying they didn't know them. Just Beastie Boys, they're all punk guys, right?
Right.
And they were Rancid fans, and we would hire that band for my wedding.
So they didn't even really know the
they hadn't really met the Beastie Boys yet.
Wow, even better of a story.
Yeah, so they're super nervous. It's like funny to see. It kind of like we were super nervous to meet Rancid, but Rancid was super nervous to meet the Beastie Boys the next day. It's just an interesting story.
The reason why I ask is because last year we had the opportunity of meeting Chris Maswick of the Radio Birdman.
Yeah.
And then about half a year later, we met Dennis Tech, the other guitar player of Radio Birdman. And Birdman's always been like one of my favorite bands. Like, how you have like the must-save bands that no matter what the hell happens in your life, you've got to keep a piece of music of that band with you, right?
Yeah.
So they're such easygoing guys, but at the same point, I kind of step out of who I am and look at myself hanging out with these guys and going, think about the first time you picked up the Birdman album and think about how many times in your life you've played it and how many times you've shared it and how many times you've hyped about, how great this band is.
Do you know the term Punisher?
I'm sorry?
Do you know the term Punisher?
No.
There's a term Punisher that's like, it's kind of like, I'm sure it happens to you, because you're a pretty well-known guy, and bands probably accosting you and saying, "Here's my CD, this, and that," and they won't leave you alone. And maybe you're on Facebook, they see you on Facebook, they're just kind of bugging you or whatever. Okay. That's a Punisher.
Okay.
So, have you ever caught yourself being a Punisher?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Amazing.
That's the thing. That's my point that I'm trying to get to is I
have been too.
I don't think I've really grew up from that.
Right.
I don't think I really grew up from it. I still get this really, kind of, oh my God, I can't believe he's in our bar kind of thing. But, it's kind of things that, once you look at the reality aspect of it is it's amazing that it happens. It's amazing that eventually with all your years of being such a committed fan to certain bands, things happen that they become connected where you can call them on the phone or you can send an email to them and they'll reply back immediately. They're real people. I guess that's the thing I'm trying to get to.
Of course.
So it's for me it's like a reality check. So I thought this next set of music that we're going to play is kind of a reality check of just kind of embracing heroes.
What do we got?
Some music from Dennis Tech, some music from Chris Maswick, and some music of the band that they both belong in, Radio Birdman.
Cool.
93.3 CFMU. 93.3 CFMU. Music there from Radio Birdman. From Zeno Beach, you heard the Brotherhood of Al-Wazah. I've learned that Al-Wazah is a brand of tea. So it's a tea brotherhood, Mr. Rispin.
Of course.
Are you a fan of tea? Do you drink tea? Do you like
remember the mushroom tea from last week?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was fun.
You know what? It had an effect on me. It made me really giggly.
Yeah, you were giggly.
I don't know why.
Like a little schoolgirl.
I totally... And there was nothing to be excited about. It was just Manolis.
Manolis is something to be excited about.
No,
I appreciate the Manolis.
Oh, me too. Me too. But I just find
he's got a great presence. It's fun to be around.
And that mustache when he decides to grow it,
the
right?
Mustache.
It's not bad. Folks, 401. It's time for the MP3 of the week. And while we spin the MP3 of the week, we're going to hook up with Bob Bryden in about 5 minutes, so stay tuned for that. Today, Rob Sweeney writes, "Hello, Lou. Mark Markham and his gestures came from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Marlboro Country, released in 1966, was later covered by his nephew, Charlie Pickett and the Eggs. Cheers."
Cool.
Now, I know that you're into a lot of really crazy hillbilly sort of ish music.
Yeah.
Right?
I am.
So this is kind of conducive. It should be a must-have in your record collection.
Let's
Have you enjoyed a Marlboro before?
It's Marlboro cigarette?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. My favorite are Lucky Strikes with the filters. I know I shouldn't talk about smoking, but yeah.
Well, you know what? Smoking is fun.
Yeah,
or it was fun.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta quit at this point, but I mean,
you're not a heavy smoker, are you?
I'm not a crazy heavy smoker. Like I don't pack lasts me like 3 days unless I go drinking. That's not bad.
And then if you're out boozing, how long? 12 hours?
Yeah, half an hour.
You ever get to a point where you light one and you forget that you have one lit?
Dude, I forget everything. Come on, you've seen me.
Can I get a pack of amnesia?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I like to drink when I drink. I like to do it, but I also like getting when I get on these kicks of not drinking. I enjoy those too. I'm so much more productive when I don't drink.
And you enjoy a cigarette as much when you're not drinking?
I smoke almost even more because what'll happen is if I drink,
right,
I won't smoke the next day because I'll be too hungover and smoked out.
Oh.
You know, like the thought of smoking kills me. Right, it makes me want to die. But yeah, so like when I'm thinking and I got a whole bunch on the go, like I'll pace and smoke.
Nice.
You know.
Well, while we think about Marlboros, we'll hear a song called Marlboro Country. It is the MP3
I love
of the
the
week.
Marlboro Lights though. My friend Rob Paslick, we were all hoping. As I said, we didn't. Rob from St. Alvia, he was there at the show on Saturday.
Oh,
Club.
Cool.
Yeah, it was great to see him. We had a great time because he's normally in England studying law. But he had a great line where I remember once in the old St. Alvia van, he's like, a Marlboro just tastes the way a cigarette should, like a leather jacket, you know? And I was like, he always has some of those one-liners.
Nice.
Like, Marlboros taste like a leather jacket, and that's the way a smoke should taste, is a great notion to me.
Well, it makes sense to me.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Like that's
totally. It's like a good smoothie.
Yeah, sure.
403, folks, this is your MP3 of the week, courtesy of our friend Rob Sweeney. .93.3 CFMU, music there from Mark Masters and his Jesters. You may be familiar with his nephew, Charlie Pickett and the Eggs. The MP3 of the week, Marlboro Country, courtesy of our friend Rob Sweeney. On the line with us right now, folks, is a gentleman who actually worked with Rob Sweeney in producing some of his music for Durango 95. Mr. Bob Bryden, are you there, sir?
I am here, Lou. How are you?
I'm doing well. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Say hi to my co-host and friend, Ben Rispin.
Hello, Ben.
How are you, man? Thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, I'm pleased, delighted.
Where are you in rural country, Bob?
I'm up where the leather is supposed to be fine. That's leather, not weather. Acton. Right. And it's sometimes not worth the drive, but other times it is. So, you know the old expression, it's worth the drive to Acton.
See what life has dished you there, buddy?
Pardon me?
See what life has dished you now?
Yes, that's right.
Congratulations on your new release, Yorkville Days.
Thank you so much. We're pretty excited about it. And as you well know, we have a CD release party this Friday at This Ain't Hollywood in Hamilton. And we're really looking forward to that. It's going to be, I think it's going to be an awesome evening.
Bob, let's talk about the record. One of the things that I wanted to tell you, first of all, is I think it's great that you're still really active in creating new music, and it seems that it inspires you every time you get into this creative flow.
Yeah, well, Thank you for that. And, you know, people have been asking me why it's so long since the last album and this and that, you know, and there are obviously many reasons. I put out Polaroid Verite in 2007, and, you know, I don't want to put out an album just for the sake of putting out an album. I kind of joke about it. You know, people who are older like me, you know, like Peter Gabriel puts an album out every 10 years and stuff. But for me, it's a couple of things. It's, you know, there's the financial aspect. Because I'm indie, I'm financing things myself. So getting the money together to do a new project is obviously vital. But the other thing is just songs. And I don't want to put out songs just for the sake of songs. I can't stand songs by committee or songs by rote. You know, I want to write my inspiration. I don't want to say anything unless I really got something to say. And if I do have something to say, I kind of want to make sure I'm saying it in a unique way. I mean, I do believe everything's been said, but I'm always looking for a relevant, you know, statement to make. And it's no point to me in just putting it out if it's not sort of like important. So it took me a while to come up with the songs. We had about 30 songs to choose from for this album, and we got it down to 10. And I'm actually just really pleased with the message in the album too. You know what I mean?
So what was the message that you were really trying to push?
Well, I think every song has a different theme. There's a lot of messages in there. You know, I'm a very, very wordy guy, so I spend a lot of time in the lyrics. There's a lot of messages in there, but for me personally, like somebody asked me the other day, what does Yorkville days mean to you? Well, obviously I grew up going into Toronto and visiting the Yorkville scene in its heyday, late 60s and early 70s, but it means a return to, I think a return to idealism, a kind of return to, you know, a positive outlook. I mean, I've been marking the different trends recently. You know, there's the neo-folk trend. There was the neo-psych trend for a while. Now it was in the neo-folk for a while, the sort of Mumford and Sons syndrome and all that. But if you notice, I call my backup band the Suicidal Folk Singers because I think even with that return to a sort of folk roots thing, which I really like because songs are back, you know, melodies and meaningful lyrics and stuff. But there's also a sort of nihilism, even in the folk scene. I mean, I joke about it because I go into a lot of record stores, and I'm always hearing these really mournful, melancholy, you know, sort of folk rock, rootsy songs and stuff. And I joke about it and say, would you please, you know, can you put something else on them? I'm gonna do myself in. I'm gonna commit suicide if I have to listen to this any longer. So anyway, my album is very rootsy. It's very folky, but it's also got a positive. I think it's uplifting, and I think all my elements are in there. The psych element, the prog rock element. There's a little bit of taste of everything I've done through the years.
Do you think this generation of music is kind of sharing the same sort of ideology that you guys were sharing back in the Yorkville days?
Yeah, I think so, because I'm seeing it. I'm hearing it, you know, like everywhere I look, I see people who, you know, I know it sounds maybe a bit silly, but they remind me of people I knew back then. I mean, we're into, a third generation of, you know, rock and roll, third or fourth generation rock and roll people or 60s people. I mean, I look around at a lot of young people today, and to me, they look like they stepped right out of 1968 and 69 and 70, and the way they dress, the way they look, and maybe even their mindset. But I think they're more jaded and they're more cynical and than we were. Because I mean, it's all in my album. I mean, the album is so 60s, it's ridiculous. I mean, the album is we can change the world. We want the world, and we want it now kind of thing. And I guess I'm still believing that you can do that. You know, that you can make a difference. That we still need to, you know, band together to make change.
So I'm presuming that this fourth generation of music fans and musicians and artists that you feel just kind of stepped out of Yorkville, did that somewhat inspire you to kind of just work on this new record, Bob?
Well, the inspiration for the record, believe it or not, well, apart from everything else I said, the specifics of the song Yorkville Days came from Edgar Bro. I was actually at CFMU. I was doing a radio show, and I was in the waiting room there, and Edgar was there, and he looked over at me at one point, and he gave me a great compliment. He said, "Everything you do, Bob, reminds me of Yorkville." And I that really just blew me away, because I I'm a total champion for the bands of that era. Many of them didn't make it, and many of them are only legendary now. You know what I'm talking about: Kensington Market, the Poppers, the Ugly Ducklings, all these bands that I used to go into Yorkville to see. And so that was a real compliment to me. And when I was making my first music with Rain Ghost and Christmas, at the same time I was traveling into Toronto on the weekends and going to Yorkville Village. And now it's the condominium city, right? It's 300,000 and up to live there. But it used to be our Liverpool. It used to be our Haight-Ashbury. It was the most amazing scene. And there was magic in the air, and it's all in my song. But I idolized those bands so much, and when Edgar said that, I realized something. I said, of all the bands, and there were many major artists who got their start in Yorkville as well. I mean, when I was hanging out there, Light was playing down the street, Coburn was playing there, Murray McLaughlin was playing there, Neil Young had been playing there, Joni Mitchell was playing on the Strip, and a lot of the lesser knowns, but it was so idealistic, but I realized nobody had ever really written a specific song about it when Edgar said that to me. So I literally decided that it needed an anthem. So I went and I spent good time trying to really write something inspired. I wanted inspiration to come, and to be honest with you, I'm thrilled with what happened. The record, the song itself, Yorkville Days, has turned out exactly as I wanted it to be. So that's the inspiration for Yorkville Days, the song. But then the rest of the songs sort of trail off from there. And there's a lot of loaded stuff. There's a lot of meaningful stuff. There's Manufactured Crisis, where I really address what goes on in the world of politics and economy. And then Don't Shoot the Horses is an ecological number. It's about caring for this planet. So. And then there's Ever Since the Bomb Went Off, which is literally starts in that song's from 1945 on, and it talks about the kind of heroism that I see in young people, and even today. And it's actually a modern song, even though it goes back to I'm talking about the atomic bomb, the lifestyle we've had to live since then with this sort of Damocles over our head. Where and talking about being positive, I understand cynicism. It's really hard to be positive these days. It's really hard because we've all got this enormous subconscious pressure over us all the time, which most of us aren't conscious of. But just the fact that we can obliterate the planet overnight with what's out there right now that man has created. So ever since the bomb went off, I talk about the heroic young people who choose to live their own life and be free and be creative in spite of these things. So,
do you find do you find that maybe you're caring more about the world now because you're, I guess, more knowledgeable in everything that's going on? The fact of technology allowing you the opportunity to be more informed. Yeah. Would you say, in comparison to, say, even 30 years ago, of how you felt that the world needs change and we need it now, as you mentioned earlier? Do you care about that more today, Bob?
Absolutely. And it's a byproduct of age. I'm no spring chicken, and it's funny you say that, though, because we had a feeling all through this album, or I had a feeling all through this album, of a real return to my own roots, which would be, like making the first Rain Ghost album. I just had that sense of refreshment. So that's another thing. You asked me what does it mean? Well, it means revitalization and refreshment. Lately I've been thinking, when we were making that album in the summer, I was thinking, man, this reminds me of the summer of 1970 when I was making the Heritage album, or it reminds me of 1968 when we were making the first Rain Ghost album. Yeah, honestly, I don't know what's going on. It's maybe unconscious or subconscious or spiritual or something, but I'm just feeling that refreshment. But the byproduct of age is the caring. Yeah, I find myself getting more relaxed and more caring as I go. And I'm not getting jaded to the point where I don't think we can still work on things and fix things and all that.
I mentioned at the beginning of the show, Bob, that you started your musical career in my hometown, Oshawa.
Yeah, and it's it's one of my hometowns.
Yeah, you were born in Ottawa.
Yeah.
And then later on, as a teen, you moved to Oshawa, or you were a kid when you moved to Oshawa. And I guess that's when you started becoming more experimental with music and art, and started developing your Bob Bryden-esque sort of sounds and styles. And then Rain Ghost and Christmas became part of your resume. But you once told me that it was at 1966 or 1967 at the Rundle Park Clubhouse. And the reason why I'm asking this, because I know people from Oshawa listen to the show, including Rob Sweeney.
Hi, Rob.
Yeah, I'll see him tonight during rehearsal. But excuse me. You told me that at the Rundle Park Clubhouse on Park Street, that would have been the very first. Was it Rain Ghost show?
No, that was actually we're going back 3 years before Rain Ghost. Even I was in a band called The Things.
The Things.
And The Things, yeah.
Wow.
The Things. We used to play at Rundle Park and do all the hits plus some originals back in '66. Yeah, that would be '66.
Where was the first Rain Ghost show?
Well, geez, it might have been one of the big rock shows, Oshawa rock shows at the Civic. We played a lot. Rain Ghost played around a lot, so it's really hard for me to say.
Mm-hmm.
I actually can't remember, which is rare for me.
Well, the reason why I'm asking is because I'm trying to I'm thinking that you're probably the godfather of Canadian psych.
Well, that's very flattering, and I'm honored, but that you would say that. But I think there was a few of us that were running in tandem. There was the Plastic Cloud. I mean, they put out an album on the same label that Rain Ghost did, and there were a few of us, and there were the bands that were a little more high profile, like the Poppers, but we definitely tried some undergroundy type stuff before other people did. Like we had the first Christmas album had the 20-minute improvisation called Jungle Fabulous, which took up the whole side too, and we were definitely trying things. Maybe at that time things were happening so fast, and people were so creative, and bands were morphing from one album to the next. They were changing their whole direction from one album to the next. It was such a creative outpouring at the time, but we might have been a couple of months ahead of a few people.
Well, the reason why I was asking is because I thought, as everybody takes such passion in documenting music nowadays, I thought it'd be kind of an interesting project to kind of document maybe the birth of Canadian psych through Bob Bryden.
Well, that's cool. I'm flattered, and I definitely have a lot of dates, months, years. I keep pretty good records of when I do things. So, I've got a lot of info.
You've had a pretty diverse musical career in the fact that you've played in bands like Rain Ghost, you've played in Christmas, you've pursued solo careers, you've also had another band in Hamilton, which I'm just drawing a blank on right now. Benzene Jag was another one. Thank you.
Mirrors.
Right. And the thing is you also managed a record store.
Yeah.
So it's like you've been involved in so many different fields of the music, and I think the one thing as music fans is that I think we tend to believe in artists like yourself a lot more because you've done different things. You've tested the water, so to speak. So when you talk and when you write, we tend to think that there's more validity to it because you've been there.
Thank you. Well, yeah, I call my company Marketing Man's Nightmare for the same reason, right?
You've been a producer, and again, the irony is having your name on some of the most iconic punk rock stuff from the Rebels.
Yeah, I'm very proud of all that stuff. Like for me, it was always about the music. It's always been the music, and wherever life and the music have taken me, kind of thing. Whether that was I wouldn't trade my period of time where I managed Star Records in Hamilton. First of all, it brought me into this area. Christmas had broken up in the mid-'70s, and I was kind of floundering for a while. I call it the displaced years. Even though I say I'm floundering, I have about 50 songs I wrote in that era, and those songs always end up making it on an album here and there. But during the displaced years, the displaced years ended when Mike Shoga of Star Records in Hamilton basically said to me one day in the store, "Would you like to go to Hamilton and manage the Hamilton store?" And I was kind of a little bit directionless at the time. I said yes, and it brought me to Hamilton and started running Star Records for him, and then we ended up becoming a label. I always say Star Records, the label with no choice.
Yeah, great.
And and we really only had the Rebels, and then we had Durango '95 too, but awesome period to be alive in and to be producing.
Well, the interesting thing is right now we're talking about generations of bands and new generations of fans. Rob Sweeney just shared about a half a year ago some young band that is covering a Durango '95 album. So that seems to be kind of like a topical band right now that younger bands are discovering, and it's just kind of interesting that you've got your name on that one, Bob.
Yeah, I know, and I love that album so much.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I love that band so much, and when I heard them back in the day when we were discussing doing an album, I always call them kind of like Canada's Television, the band Television, because they had that same kind of wonderful guitar harmony and guitar interaction. Added on to that were a little bit more ambitious vocals. They had some great vocals, great lyrics. I'm a song person, so it's always about the song for me.
Yeah, Greg Weir had a great vocal, or he still does. And
the songwriting again, the lyrics. They had great lyrics, great songs, and that's what I look for. That's what I looked for in the Rebels. People might, whatever they think of now, but when I heard those songs, I just said, these songs have got to be preserved. I always say the Rebels got recorded because of Elvis is Dead. I had it in my mind that song needed to be preserved for the world because it was just so funny.
What was your first impression when you first met the Rebels?
Well, they came into Star Records, and I've told the story many times, but Mickey and Chris Pogo, they came into Star Records and they needed help for their first EP. I always remember it very vividly because my producer's credentials are as follows. They came into Star Records and said, "Hey Bob, we need you to help us. You're the only person we know who's ever been in a studio before." So that's how I got the job. I was the only person they knew who'd ever been in a studio, but they needed help with some of the EQ and balancing of the first EP. So I did that for them. I cleaned it up a little bit and made it presentable, and then we just followed through, and then Star became a label, and it was actually, I think I'm safe to say it was my idea because I went to Mike Shoga and I said, listen, there's this really interesting band here in Hamilton. Why don't we become a label? And Mike came out, and they actually auditioned for us. We were 3 floors up somewhere on King Street, where the Rebels were practicing, and Mike came out. And he hadn't heard them at that point, and we went up to their practice space. And this is exactly how Christmas got hired by Daffodil, by the way. 3
that's
floors
funny.
up at Lecoq Door on Young Street. But Mike came out, and he heard them, and then we more or less signed them. I think there was a contract somewhere at some point, and made the first album.
Wow, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
And still, 30, 35 years later, those records are still in high demand.
Absolutely, and I get great feedback still from people all over. I got an email this week from some guy in the States saying he was a Rebels fan, and did I have any unreleased tapes, or did I have any info for him about the Rebels? And by the way, I directed him to my website because www.bobbryden.com. I have a whole section there called My Punk History, and if you're ever looking for facts and figures, or anyone is ever looking for facts and figures about the punk scene back at that time, it's all there. So much so that Liz Worth used that section of my website for a lot of her data for her book, Treat Me Like Dirt.
Do you think? Sorry, finish your point.
No, it's good. I'm good.
I was just going to say, since you mentioned Liz Worth, does it all make sense, the fact that everything that you guys did, now that it becomes so topical, the Teenage Head book, Treat Me Like Dirt, it's almost becoming like a Canadian mythology, right?
Yeah, it's really cool. And what's really cool about it is if you read Treat Me Like Dirt, it's an oral, history. It's people speaking. She's sort of like organizing all these interviews, bits and pieces, and juxtaposing them and switching them around, and making it very entertaining. But it's all true. Mm-hmm. There's no exaggeration there. It's just, a mythology could be built on fantasy, but this really happened, and it was really a fun time. Like I keep saying, it was a fun time to be alive and to be doing things.
Yeah. I guess my reason for saying it's almost kind of like mythology is because a lot of people who are picking up from it, like from the newer generation, is like, when you read it and you can almost smell the bars, you can almost smell the sweat. Yeah. It's so realistic. In a lot of ways, those kind of environments and atmospheres don't exist anymore.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I still look for them too. It's the word I love to use is authentic, right? Mm-hmm. Looking for authenticity. And whenever I hear a young band today or something but often I'll say that to them. I remember when I first heard Edie Iarocci's band, what are they called? The Flamingos?
Well, the Flamingo Goes.
Yeah, the Flamingo Girls. When I first heard them, I walked right up to her and I said, that's the most authentic 60s sound I've heard in a long time. And just that kind of thing of looking for authenticity. I think young people are looking for it today. When I did my Rain Ghost Christmas revival show with the Saffron Sect backing me up at Sneaky D's in Toronto a few years ago, I mean, that's the word I got from people. One guy came up to me and he said, that was more 1968 than 1968. And he said, and I was there, I know. So, I mean, that really honored me, man, because, again, what it pointed to was that whatever we had communicated and played, it had an air of authenticity about it. And I think people are still looking for that.
If you want to learn more about this gentleman, you can visit his website, bobbryden.com. If you want to see him live, he's performing Friday night at the St. Hollywood with his friends Kensington Prairie, as well as, Hollow Earth. And you're backed by the Suicidal Folk Singers.
With Corey Pop, and Zen is going to do a psychedelic light show for us. So,
we're going to spin a song from your newest album, the Cowboy Song.
Cool. If you like it, play it.
Tell us a little bit about it.
Cowboy Say Your Prayers. Well, how can I nutshell this? I wrote a bunch of songs that initially I would have called Bush-era songs, and then when Bush was no longer president, I thought, gee, these songs, are they going to be relevant? But I have another complete life view now, and that is everything old always becomes new again, because within a year of Obama being president, suddenly all the same issues were in our face again, and nothing had really changed. The players had changed, but the game was the same. So there's a political sort of undertone to this alleged cowboy song, because it's really about how the Western world has kind of lost some of its edge and some of its influence lately, and when we're all going to have to shift and make changes while this process goes on. Cowboys, say your prayers. There's no place left to roam. Cowboys, say your prayers. There's no place to call home. It's sort of like the end of the frontier. So where is the frontier now? Well, I think it's an internal frontier. We're going to all have to look within ourselves to find the promised land and make the changes that we need to make. Oh, there, I've gone on again, but I was a preacher for a while.
Well, when I first read the title, I thought it was kind of poking fun at yourself, because you had the Cowboy Bob tag for a while, and
I'm sure that's in there.
But because of your spiritual connection as well, Cowboy Say Your Prayers, I thought it was just perhaps a jab at yourself.
No, it's a little more broader than that, a little more political. It's actually quite a political song.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to spin that as we say goodbye to you, Bob, as well as we're going to spin some music from Rain Ghost and a classic from Christmas. We'll see you Friday night, Mr. Bryden.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Lou.
My pleasure. Enjoy the rest of your day, sir.
You too, man.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye for now. Folks, that is Bob Bryden. Kind of him to share some time from his afternoon with us as we kind of get ready for the last half of the show, or actually the last quarter of the show. We'll spin some music here from Bob Bryden. This is from Yorkville Days on 93.3 CFMU. 93.3 CFMU, music there from Bob Bryden. It's new music from Bob Bryden from Yorkville Days. You heard a song that called Cowboy Say Your Prayer. Special thanks to Bob for spending some time with us this afternoon. Mr. Rispin.
Yes, sir.
If you don't mind taking the mic for a while, I've got to make a call.
So right now we're going to attempt to prank phone call our friend Brad Sumac, who plays in Gym Class Joke and plays in a whole bunch of bands. A lot of you will already know him. But anyway, the reason we're doing this is because his band, Gym Class Joke, is doing a reunion at Club Absinthe on Friday, and it's the end of our Road to Pooza series. So Gym Class Joke is a special guest, and we have POE, a.k.a. Poe, playing, Bring Me the Author playing, and Shift D playing, and then they get to, the winners win a spot at this year's Pooza Fest in Montreal, which is a great event. So here we go. Hopefully he's not a deadbeat.
Brad Sumac?
This is
Canadian Revenue Agency calling. Do you have a moment?
I do, yeah.
Just reviewing your 2013 earnings. Do you have a moment just to talk about these quickly?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'm just going to pass you on to my colleague, Mr. Rispin, to discuss these. Oh, hey, we're on the air.
Hey, whoa.
We're on the air. We're live on the air.
Oh, that's nice.
How you doing, Ben? Sorry.
I'll be going too. I was like, what the hell? This is Canada Road Agency.
Did I sound professional? Did I get you? Hey?
No, you got me enough, Lou.
Well, that's good. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Ben Rispin wanted to say hi.
Now I feel a bit like a chump. But
Don't feel like a chump.
Don't feel like a
Come
chump.
on.
We got you.
We got you. Ooga booga.
Cheers.
You're playing this
That was
weekend.
wicked. We want to talk with the Gym Class Joke Show.
Yeah, I'm in. Let's do it.
Well, first of all, thanks for taking time and talking to us this afternoon. You're playing Saturday night at the Absinthe?
Yep. Yes, sir. No, it's Friday.
Friday night. Okay, pardon me.
Friday night.
Tell us a little bit about the band, first of all, because I know there's people who are listening that are not familiar with the band, Brad.
Yeah, I'm sure most people are not familiar with the band. We were a band a million years ago, and stopped being a band about 15 years ago until Ben asked if we would reunite and play Burley Calling this past year.
Well, why did you guys stop being a band? Let's start there, and then we'll talk about why you guys became a band.
Okay. To be honest, I couldn't even tell you it was that long ago.
Wow.
Yeah, it was that long ago. I'd been out of the band for about a year or so before the band kind of finally called it quits.
All met in Burlington?
Yes, yeah, Burlington, yeah.
Connor from Connor Lovett Fraser from Boys Night Out. He wasn't Boys Night Out. Works at Sink and Ink. He was also part of the band as well.
Oh, cool. I had no idea about that. Wow.
And great dudes.
So how long did you stay in the band, Brad?
I was in the band for probably 4 years, maybe. Give or take, yeah, I think.
Did you declare your revenue all those 4 years? If not, I know somebody that can help you.
There's an awesome video of these guys online playing Jono-Vision.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, they're John.
Yeah, I remember Jonathan Torres.
Yeah. From Trailer Park Boys and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would call it awesome, but the video is online, yeah.
It's pretty awesome. If you want to get an idea of Gym Class Joke, and they were a good band. They were really actually like very popular band at the time. Like you guys were pulling out like 200-300 kids a show and stuff like that at one point, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, surprisingly, yeah.
Yeah, and but there's a great video, and then they were the first band. There's other bands on it, like Sum 41. What are some other bands that were on that Jono-Vision, Jono-Palooza thing?
The headliner was Treble Charger.
Oh, good old Greg Norrie. All right.
Yeah, and then Sum 41, but like the first incarnation of Sum 41 before Derek was the singer. And
I didn't even know there was a first incarnation.
Yeah. It was before Dave was in the band. Before Derek was the singer. But you just go on YouTube and search Jono-Palooza. It's the first video that'll pop up.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, Brad looks so handsome and young.
I was, well, see, now I look like I ate that version of me that was in that video.
Well,
no, you're still
but you
handsome.
look great.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing that you ate it.
And the ladies love you, buddy.
Shucks.
How many things did you guys release as a band?
We actually put out one cassette tape. That's how long ago this was.
Wow.
And then did record material that would have been on that would have been released as a CD. But the band was kind of done before that had the opportunity to be released.
People don't realize how much harder it was to put out things in the back then. Not everybody had a home Pro Tools thing. So you had to have a whole bunch of dough to go to a studio and record. It wasn't.
No, you had to find a relatively inexpensive studio that will still sound somewhat decent.
Yeah, it was tough.
And, at the time, we were all working at Pizza Huts and stuff like that. So,
You're kids.
you had to you had to save your pennies, and
not only did you eat the band, you ate the pizza.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Did you guys do a lot of road work?
No, I'd like to say that we actually did some real touring, but no, we made it as far as Montreal and Ottawa, pretty much. But we were kids.
So all those songs that you guys recorded but never released, have you thought about maybe revisiting them, maybe perhaps re-performing them and releasing them, or is this just more for the purpose of just having fun at this point?
Well, obviously it's we have no delusions of becoming rock stars at this point in our lives. But we have actually discussed the idea of possibly re-recording some of them, or at least taking the masters and remastering them and releasing something just kind of for fun. We actually, for Burley Calling this past December, we made T-shirts for the first time in the band's career.
Wow.
So we thought, we toyed with the idea of maybe putting out something.
Well, you're progressing.
Yeah.
Right? And you know what? MySpace lot of bands are on MySpace.
Yeah, that was the only.
Check out mp3.com.
We ever had.
Yeah, mp3.com is another good thing too, Brad.
I've heard good things.
What are you doing with your time nowadays, sir?
Now I'm playing with my buddies in Bombing Neverland.
Cool.
And I work at a little pub here in Burlington, and that's about it.
Awesome. Well,
I'm still promoting shows here and there, but nothing.
We fight the good fight, don't we, sir?
And that's all we can do, Lou.
You got it. I was glad that we got a chance to talk to you. Ben's idea was to crank call you, and I'm glad that we were successful at doing it.
It worked out well, too. I was right in the middle of an episode of How I Met Your Mother, so I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, nice.
Got me.
Yeah.
You're right on time today, Ben. Like, you're just...
What do you mean?
Your timing today's been perfect.
Oh, yeah? It's because I haven't been drunk in days. This is...
that's going to change Friday night, sir.
What's that? Oh, I can't drink Friday night, buddy. I got an auction in the morning, but I can't wait to see the show.
Guess whose problems aren't my problems.
Sunday night, if you're around, Brad. You usually hit Hamilton on Sunday, right? You do the Hess on Sundays.
Yeah, we go see our friends in the Crimps.
Yeah.
On Sunday night.
Right.
Sunday night. I think I know where I'm going to blow off the steam of my week. I'm going to go find you.
You can crawl home.
Yeah, I can crawl home from there.
We're going to say bye to you, Brad.
All right, Lou, Ben, thanks, guys.
Thanks, buddy. See you Friday.
Have a good show Friday night.
Thanks very much, Lou.
Take care.
Make it out.
You bet. Bye-bye.
Cheers, guys. Bye.
That's Brad Sumac from the Gym Class Heroes, old Burlington. Gym Class Jokes. Of an old Burlington band.
Yeah.
I guess they would have come out in the mid-'90s?
Yeah, mid-'90s. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Someone should really document all that Burlington scene that happened then. Like, I mean, there's a lot of... things. No, seriously.
There's a lot of people that came out of it.
I mean, you're
Southern Ontario.
You're the pioneer of like revisiting a lot of these bands and bringing them back. And
I'm the pioneer of needing gimmicks to make Burley Calling work. Let's be honest here, buddy. No, but there's a lot of stuff. But I mean, I think somebody should tell some sort of linear story about the whole Southern Ontario music scene as a collective, because that's really, I mean, like, that's really what it is. You know, I don't think anybody's kind of done that. Personally, I don't know. You know, like there's been different pockets of explosions. Like obviously, like Hamilton's where it kind of gave birth to it. But since then, there's been, even Oshawa's had little small explosions here. Burlington, like there's been, London's had, you know what I mean? There's been so many different little, it's so spread out the way it is. It's not like, New Jersey. Yeah. Oshawa. Oh, we already said Oshawa.
Yeah, we already said Oshawa.
But anyway, like, I mean, it's not like, say, like New Jersey or like, some other, or, like downtown, you know what I mean? Like, it's so spread out that it's been a hard go to tell it linearly with some proper lineage.
Nice.
Had to change up the sentence there.
You weren't pulling a Tim Armstrong.
Yeah. She's going back.
Okay, we're going to continue on with some more music featuring Bob Bryan. Here's some music from Rain Ghost on 93.3 CFMU. Actually, we'll play this song from Christmas first, and then we'll play a song from... 93.3 CFMU. Music there from Slade Alive.
It's a great song.
Special request, and there you have it. We've got time for one more, and we'll play it shortly. Mr. Rispin, what's going on in your world this week?
My gosh, Lou.
I know you're going to be doing Brad Sumac's taxes.
I'm going to be doing Brad. I'm doing my own taxes tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
I have a video shoot tomorrow afternoon for a great band from Toronto called the Ballroom Babies. Mm-hmm. And then I have 2 shows going on Friday. Mm-hmm. I have the Gym Class Joke Show at Absinthe, and then I'm also production managing and co-producing the Mini Pooza Fest at the Bovine Sex Club on Friday.
Oh, wow, cool.
Then I have an auction, North Toronto auction, on Saturday morning.
Sunday you're busy.
And Sunday I'm shooting. I have a little secret project we're working on, a little pilot.
Yeah.
With people, so we're shooting all day for that. So I have Saturday night off. Maybe I'll spend it with my wife.
What's at the club Saturday night?
Man, I'm the worst.
Visit clubabsinthe.ca.
Yeah, go to clubabsinthe.ca.
Gym Class.
I even looked this up before I came. So I knew.
I knew that Molinaro's going to ask me this.
He's going to ask me. Anyway. Sorry. Sorry, Saturday night. I'm too consumed with my hell week.
So
and then Sunday night, I'm getting loaded with Brad Sumac after I'm done shooting.
You need a good drinking of Tuesday night booze, and then you come back on Wednesday, and you're a lot sharper.
Yeah,
you're with it.
I'm pretty with it right now.
Yeah. You're pretty
doing
good.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Doing pretty good myself.
Yeah.
You make me laugh. 4:55 and change, folks. You know the drill. You pick up a newspaper, the Hamilton Spectator. You check out the Go section. Read Graham Rockingham's best bets as well as his stories if you prefer to read it online. Then check thespec.com, what's on section, to get all your up-to-dates that way. Viewmag.com, read Rick Taylor's articles as well as checking out the calendar in the back. SteelCityMusic.ca, Gunnersmith.ca.
Yeah.
Sorry, that Steel City Music is going back a ways away. Yes.
No, we should add to that list is Riffview.com.
Riffview actually has been doing great.
They've been doing and they support a lot of the stuff in the area.
Yeah. There's actually a really good thing that he posted. Maybe we can talk about this next week about Record Store Day, about how prices get inflated on eBay.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
So and he had a lot
I'm
of
staying out of that debate. I don't know.
I'm the same way. And actually, maybe next week what we could do is also perhaps just peripherally talk about the Frankie Venom statue.
I wish we could talk about this today. How much time do we got? Not enough.
No, we have to say bye right now. It's 4:56.
Okay, so for Frankie Venom statue, happening or not happening?
It's not happening.
Can we change it?
We're looking at changing.
Okay, next week.
That does it for us, folks. We'll be here next Wednesday. In the meantime, we'll see you at the shows, and we'll say goodbye to you by spinning some music from a band called The Moving Sidewalks. Before there was ZZ Top, there was Billy Gibbons playing guitar and singing in this band. Take care, guys.